Okay, we're continuing with the quotes of Rodney Stark. This is part 3 of Rodney Stark quotes. He said, Columbus went to Hispaniola, which is now Haiti and Dominican Republic. And he noted in the Caribbean islands they had cannibalism routinely. Okay, they even fattened up boys before eating them. It's like the Hansel and Gretel story, according to Rodney Stark. And that's what I mean by all this multiculturalism is BS. Europe was so far ahead of these other places, it's not even funny. We're talking, this is around 1500, okay? They already had the Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo was, about to paint the Sistine Chapel. They had the art of Sandro Botticelli, Roger van der Weyden. They were doing advanced stuff. Not this third world cannibalism craziness. According to Christopher Columbus, cannibalism was widespread. The people went around naked. They had no metal weapons. Protestant Reformation was an opportunity for the princes, like the German princes, and the other ones in other countries, to rip off the Roman Catholic Church, and they did. At the time of the Lutheran Reformation in Germany, only about 5% of Germans could read. Protestants and their faith alone motto, they stole the Roman Catholic Church's land, they abused the nuns and priests, they then destroyed the art and the paintings and the sculpture. That's what I'm trying to say is Protestantism is backward compared to Catholicism. Catholicism is high civilization. Protestantism, they're good at reading the Bible. I give them credit for that. But they destroy art, man. They're backward. Henry VIII and his Anglicans, they killed many of the Roman Catholic priests, as did the Protestants in Italy and other countries that went Protestant. There were I don't know how many, tens of thousands of peasants got killed in Germany after Luther's Reformation. Okay, then the Counter-Reformation of the Catholics at the Council of Trent made the new rule of celibacy for the priests, the cardinals, and all that stuff, and that was a bad idea. That has destroyed the Catholic Church. It's now like homosexual pedophiles have taken the thing over, and the organized church is run by these creeps. So that's why the organized church, the Catholic Church, is so weak, because you got these low-life scumbags that just want to steal the money and degrade the religion. The real Catholic Church is the Catholic people. The people who are Catholic, not those guys. All right. Rodney Stark continues. He says that most of the so-called intellectual achievements of the Muslims, in his opinion, were actually done by the conquered people. He says that the Arabic numerals were actually from the Hindus, according to Rodney Stark. He says that most Muslim scholars were actually Christians or Jews who had been given Muslim names, according to Rodney Stark. Okay. The Mediterranean Stone Age was about 8,000 years ago. But in Middle America, they were still in the Stone Age in 1500 AD. Okay? Yeah, cannibals walking around naked in Middle America. Okay? That's not civilization. That's backward. Okay? And I know guys, I don't know if their name was the Paraha. There's some researchers went out there, and their language, they don't even have words to count to 5. Okay? I'm sorry, but all cultures are not equal. If somebody can't count to 5, they're backward, okay? I mean, this is so obvious. The reason no one can say the truth anymore is because they're all scared you're going to call me racist. Okay, I'm half Hispanic, okay, so I'm a Hispanic, okay? Can I say anything about Hispanics? It's bullshit. We should be able to talk about whatever we want. You don't have to agree, but we should be able to talk. This, muzzling of free speech just leads to a degradation of everybody in the country and all intellectual thought, philosophy, and history and everything else. Okay, he said the Spaniards did steal a lot of gold and silver from the New World, and they brought it back to Spain. So Spain became quite wealthy after Christopher Columbus and his other cohort that went and stole stuff from the Middle America and South America. But Spain really was kind of a backward country compared to most of the rest of Europe. It was slower to leave the Middle Ages than were England and France. Charles V took over Spain about 1515. And Rodney Stark says the Habsburgs were inbred, and that Charles V and his son Philip suffered from facial deformity due to inbreeding. Okay, and we kind of alluded to a moment ago, the iconoclasts were the Protestants who would just go through destroying the Catholic churches, smashing the sculptures, cutting up the paintings, breaking stained glass windows. They would take the Celtic crosses and throw them into the river or the ocean. It's backwards. Okay, Rodney Stark says there were 3 main Protestant Reformations: Lutheranism, Anglicanism, and Calvinism. Okay, so, a couple things I'll add here before we call it a day is that, purchasing indulgences was voluntary. People weren't forced to do it. Luther, as he got more power for the Lutheran version of the religion, they got rid of all holy days except for Sunday. So he got rid of all the saints' days. And the Protestants don't have respect for Virgin Mary. Catholics do not worship the saints or Mary. They pray to them with the idea of intercession, that they might ask God to intercede, but not believing that they themselves directly have any ability or powers. But the nice thing about the saint day is you get all these days for picnics, You got a saint's day. That's like getting an extra couple, 2-3 holidays a month. Who doesn't want that? God, I wish we had saints' days, okay? It'd be like having, a Thanksgiving every month. That would be nice. All right, so he got rid of all the saints' days. This also got rid of all the pilgrimages to the saint shrines. This also fostered nationalism. Before, with Christendom in all of Europe, things were a lot more open. Now everybody's locking down. This is my territory. This is my religion. This is my language. If you're not one of us, then get lost. So it had bad effects. It's too bad that they should have took Luther in and made him an order, a Lutheran order of the Catholic Church. That would have been much better. Okay, and it diminishes the hope that an individual could become a saint. That's kind of a nice thing to know about. All right, one good thing Luther did is I'm glad that he got rid of celibacy. And he did like music, too. I'll give him credit for that. So that's it for today. Hope you found it helpful.